Hi, this is Ray. So those are some interesting, things that I was writing down today. And there's like a lot of interesting stuff in there. Like if you say more, for instance, and this whole thing about like the Good Samaritan. That what I'm saying is that if you look at the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and then Jesus Christ has all these words before his crucifixion, such as the ones which I've mentioned, and then, well, was he being facetious? And so if he was being facetious, then here we are. And everything is still going according to the facetiousness of Jesus Christ before his crucifixion. For instance, what you might say, that Judas Iscariot did not become, the fantastic apostle. He had great plans, but he didn't know what it takes to succeed with those plans. It's something interesting, like how lots of music can be an inspiration to people when they're younger. When they're younger, they listen to like, the Jesus and Mary Chain, or, they walk around in these trench coats and they think they're so cool and everything like this. And as you get older, you have to think about what it takes to succeed at that. Some of it's really just, it's like a motivational speaker, like in the music, somewhere. And so everybody's trying to get to paradise. You know what I mean? Like Judas Iscariot did not actually know how to make it to paradise. And then one of these thieves at the crucifixion of Jesus Christ takes the place of Judas Iscariot. And he says, that I was just doing things my own way. I'm nothing compared to, I'm just a thief, said this man at the crucifixion. And you are the Savior of the world, Jesus Christ. And so, whatever kind of a fascination, that you could be thinking about, or Fascination Street, whatever kind of a fascination it was, for instance, that you're still talking about Jesus Christ, It could be like a fascination with music. It could be like a fascination with, and what Jesus Christ had brought to everybody was the fullness of life. So it's a little bit hard to say, but Judas Iscariot did not succeed at making it to paradise. He failed at making it to paradise, leaving this question about Jesus Christ and his life on earth. And so Jesus Christ was saying, by the way, if somebody persecutes you in that town, just leave, go away from there. If you sit down at somebody's table to eat whatever they serve you. And whatever you do, don't say that I'm God. Because he's headed off to the crucifixion in the name of Judas. You see what I mean? And so, what is the story of the Good Samaritan? Is it the story of the crowning with thorns and the Stations of the Cross? Or the Stations of the Cross, is that like this publicity hype that Judas Iscariot left us with all his publicity about Judas Iscariot, when really that we would be much more familiar with the story of the Good Samaritan, for instance. That we wouldn't always think twice about the story of the Good Samaritan. That it would be a little bit more like second nature to talk about the story of the Good Samaritan. If the story of the Good Samaritan was not littered up by like this crowning with thorns and crucifixion, and it's just what I noticed. I don't know. This is what Jesus Christ had said to his apostles, and it just occurs to me I don't know, is that what I do? I don't really do that. I eat anything that somebody gives me. How could I do that? I can't do that because I couldn't even take it if I did that. Or that I would just leave this place and go somewhere else. If anybody persecutes me, I'm going like, that's like me talking about myself, like as if I'm trying to turn myself in or something, for the way that I do things. That's not really who I am, That's who somebody might say that, and then I have to say, that's not really what I do. Is just run around from place to place and everything. You know what I mean? But here's this guy, and that's what he left us with. At the crucifixion of Jesus Christ was like his message, the message from Judas Iscariot, for instance, And do not say that I'm God, says Jesus Christ, about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, for instance, that if you did believe in Jesus Christ, then I could say right now what I'm going to say. I think that Nell Freudenberger is so far in love with me that she's putting out a test to find out if I would betray our true love on the basis of this story tale that she's creating, like with her book. That I'm supposed to walk down the road like holding hands, like with her book. Like walk down the road like with her book in my hands, and then she's supposed to go, yeah, go ahead and take the book, Ray. Just take the book. Get out of here. Take the book thing, Because that's who she really is. Because she loves me very, very much. And I love her very, very much too. And there is something about us being together that's always been a little bit like a question, like her opinion is like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? About that subject. You know what I mean? And then it's on to the next thing, and then it's this whole thing about that again. It's very, very romantic with me and Nell, And I think that we should get back together, And so there it is for me, Why wouldn't you just say that he was God? Jesus Christ, Why wouldn't you just say that he was God? Believe in Jesus Christ right now, All this spirit of Christianity, And according to the tradition that Judas Iscariot was talking about, that you have to be much more careful, like with your Christianity, than to believe in God or believe in Jesus Christ or say that he is God and all this kind of stuff. That you would just need to be much more careful with your Christianity. And of course, that's not true, and we challenge that all the time. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about this thing with like these Italian girls from Brooklyn and the baseball card collections. I can see what you're talking about. I know what you're getting into, but I know who you are. I mean, this is the, just send me a ticket. No, send me a ticket, and I'll take the bus out there, and we'll just sit there and we'll call Sean Lennon on the phone until we finally get in touch with him. You know what I mean? Because that would be funny if we finally did get in touch with Sean. If me and Nell get back together, and then we just sit there trying to get in touch with Sean, and then we finally get back in touch with Sean. Like, that would be fun, like if it was me and Nell. And that would be fun, like if it was Sean, if me and Nell did that. And she just thinks that I'm going to run off with some other woman or something like that. So the story of the Good Samaritan, think about it according to the tradition of Jesus Christ, but you can't even see it with your own eyes. No, you would just sit there asking yourself, like if you knew who this person was, like with a pillowcase over his head. And you got to just run around and you're like, is that who that is? Like if you pull his pants down, and you're like, because you really do that, like with these human beings. You really blindfold yourself. You really make sure that you're a blind man running around in circles like a blind man with somebody. Before you take a close look at that person, you got to make sure that you can't see anything right in front of your own face. You know what I mean? And that's ridiculous. But was Jesus Christ like challenging Judas? Like even on his way like to the crucifixion, for instance.